Oh, is it all right if I sit here?
Before he can get a word out, Mr. Green sits on the edge of the table, which surprisingly collapsed noisily.
Sorry. Little accident prone. Sorry.
Mr. Body, what's this about, sir?
In this bag, I have 6 packages that I thought our guests might find useful this evening.
Mr. Body begins to empty the duffel bag, full of packages, into the arms of Wadsworth.
Packages?
Presents, if you will. I'm a generous sort of fellow.
Are you?
Wadsworth, will you please see to it that each guest receives a gift?
Gladly.
Wadsworth moves to distribute the gifts.
Anyone want to make a guess at what's in your gift? You?
Candy.
A rare single malt Scotch whiskey.
Aren't guessing games fun? Please, open them.
Mrs. Scarlet opens the box, puzzled. She lifts out a heavy brass candlestick. She looks at Mr. Body.
A candlestick. What's this for?
One by one, each guest open their box and pull out their gift.
A wrench?
A lead pipe.
A dagger?
A revolver.
No, it's just a rope.
In your hands, you each have a lethal weapon. You all came tonight because you believe the evidence put against you was so terrible that you would do anything against it. I'm putting that theory to the test.
What?
Wadsworth here is the only person who knows all your secrets, and it's costing us all dearly to keep him quiet.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't have to double your payments if I didn't have to pay for Mr. Wadsworth's silence.
Wadsworth?
That's a lie.
He may seem suave and charming,
Thank you.
but he's really conniving and manipulative.
False.
Why do you think he's called the police?
You called the police?
Only because he instructed me to do so.
Did I? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can manage to get rid of Wadsworth, I'll have no need to increase your payment or report you to the police.
Get rid of?
Does he mean kill him?
In fact, if you can eliminate Wadsworth,
Yes, I think that's what he means.
who not only knows all of your secrets, but all of mine, then I will eliminate your blackmail altogether and be done with this business once and for all.
You would never.
But why make us do it, Mr. Body? Why don't you do your dirty work yourself?
Yeah.
Why should I? Why should I when all of you are so uniquely motivated and armed? What appropriate.
After all I've done for you, come now, everybody. He's a liar. I'm one of you. I'm not a butler. I'm an indentured servant.
A familiar refrain. Don't make a scene, Wadsworth. It's over. The police are on their way. Now's your chance. The only way to avoid finding yourselves on the front pages and your blackmail to end is for one of you to kill Wadsworth now.
He switches off the lights. Blackness.
I can't see.
Nobody move! Nobody move!
Oh!
Everyone hold still.
What's that?
The lights switch back on. Mr. Body lies on the floor, prone, face down. Everyone else remains as they were.
It's Mr. Body!
Oh, thank goodness.
Is he breathing?
Stand back! I'm a doctor. He's dead.
Who had the gun?
I did?
So you shot him?
I did not!
Well, if you didn't, then who did?
I don't know. Someone took the gun from my hand, and the next thing I knew, there was a shot.
There's no gunshot wound.
He's right. There isn't.
Look, there's a bullet here lodged in the wall.
Eagle eye, Miss Scarlet.
Well, if the bullet's over there, then how did he die over here?
I don't know. I'm not a forensics expert.
Something else must have killed him.
One of us must have killed him.
They all look at each other and their weapons nervously, aware that the murderer is amongst them.
Well, don't look at me. I didn't do it.
I could not have
Why
done
are you
it.
all looking
I
at
am
me?
the-
Mrs. Peacock, unable to find her drink elsewhere, goes to Mr. Body's body, who is still holding a goblet.
I need a drink.
She pries the goblet from Mr. Body's dead hand. She raises it to her lip. She downs it just as
Maybe Mr. Body was poisoned by the brandy.
Mrs. Peacock spits out the brandy, all over Professor Plum and dead Mr. Body.
Then,
There, Mrs. Peacock. I'm sure you'll be fine. There's really nothing to worry about.
Mrs. Scarlet takes over, pushing Mr. Green out of the way. She slaps Mrs. Peacock, who has fallen into the sofa silenced.
Well, don't try to stop her screaming.
Was the brandy poisoned, Mr. Green?
How should I know?
Looks like now we'll never know.
Unless she dies too.
They all hurry over to the sofa and stare at Mrs. Peacock.
The screams are coming from the billiard room.
All the guests rush out. Mr. Green has the lead pipe as they move to the billiard room. Scene 4. The hall outside of the billiards room. Yvette's screams are louder now as Wadsworth and the guests, except for Mrs. Peacock, arrive at the door of the billiards room. Wadsworth tries the handle.
It's locked. Who's in there? Who's screaming?
C'est moi!
Yvette?
We...
Yvette, are you all right?
No!
Yvette, are you alive?
Of course I'm alive, you idiot! No thanks to you, Wadsworth. You locked us in this house as a murderer.
So the murderer is here?
We...
Where?
We're here, we are looking at him!
Mrs. Peacock enters, out of breath.
Or her.
What took you so long?
I am an old woman who may or may not have just been poisoned. It's amazing I am anywhere.
I heard you in the study. One of you is the killer.
How could you hear us in the study?
I was listening. There's a tape recorder in the study connected to the billiard room. Monsieur Body asked me to record your conversation.
Why would he ask you to do that?
For more evidence, of course. Wadsworth revealed all your secrets in the study. Now they're all recorded.
What a snake! I've got to destroy those tapes. Where are the tapes?
Who cares about the tapes? What about the body?
What body?
Mr.
Body's
Body!
But Yvette, why were you screaming in here all by yourself?
Because I was frightened. I also drank the cognac. Maybe I am poisoned too. Because one of you is a killer. Mr. Body is dead.
We have to figure out which one of them did it.
What do you mean, which one of them?
Well, I didn't do it.
Well, one of you did. I would have killed him myself, but I didn't have access to a weapon.
Don't look at me. All I got was a candlestick.
Maybe it wasn't one of us.
Who else could it have been?
Who else is in the house?
Is it cook?
The cook?
Look!
Scene 5. The kitchen. They enter the kitchen. There is a large refrigerator. Mr. Green no longer has the lead pipe. They are looking for the cook.
As far as I can tell, the cook's not here.
This is quite a lovely kitchen. It reminds me of one that we had in our first brownstone. It just has such a homey feel to it, doesn't it?
As she reminisces, Mr. Green trips, accidentally causing the refrigerator door to open. The cook's body, dagger in the back, tumbles out onto the quite unsuspecting
It's the
Mr.
cook!
Green.
The dagger in her back.
Someone must have killed her.
This makes 2
To what?
murders.
I hate murders.
I think you'd better explain yourself, Wadsworth.
Me?
Well, who else would want to kill the cook?
Dinner wasn't that bad.
How can you make jokes at a time like this?
It's my defense mechanism.
Some defense. If I were the killer, I'd kill you next. I said if. There's only one admitted killer here, and it's not me. It's Mrs. White.
I've admitted nothing.
You paid the blackmail. How many husbands have you had?
Mine are other women's.
Yours.
5.
5?
Just the 5. The husbands should be like Kleenexes. Soft, strong, and disposable.
Well, if it wasn't you, who was it? Who had the dagger?
It was Mrs. Peacock.
Yes, but I put it down.
Where?
In the study. Any one of you could have picked it up.
I never even...
It wasn't me.
Down a murder weapon.
Well, if it wasn't any of you, then it must have been Mr. Green.
Can somebody please help me?
Good Lord, let him up.
Oh, you really ought to learn to speak up for yourself, Mr. Green.
Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum lift the cook's body off Mr. Green. Mr. Green gets up.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Wadsworth steps over Mr. Green, who crawls away.
Gentlemen, might I suggest we take the cook's body into the study?
Wadsworth dumps the cook's body off his back into the arms of the rest of the group.
Why?
Well, for starters, when the police arrive, if they find this... We'll be in custody and under suspicion for murder.
Huh?
And secondly, I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
They heave-ho, grumbling as they do, and carry the cook's body from the kitchen back to the study. Scene 6. The study. All guests except for Wadsworth enter the study. They stop and slowly look back to the spot where Mr. Body was.
The body's gone.
They freeze and drop the body of the cook with a thud. Just then, Wadsworth enters.
What are you all staring at?
Nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody. No body. Mr. Body's body. It's gone.
Maybe he wasn't really dead.
He was.
We should have made sure.
I thought I had.
So was he dead or wasn't he?
Maybe he was dead, but someone moved him.
Who would move him?
And why?
How should I know?
Well, if he's not here, then where is he?
Oh, my. All this excitement. If you'll please excuse me, is there a little girl's room around here?
Oui, oui, madame.
Oh, no, I just have to powder my nose.
The toilet next to the billiard room?
Thank you.
Mrs. Peacock exits.
I don't wish to alarm anyone, but we currently have the small issue of 2 dead bodies, 1 missing, 1 present, and the imminent arrival of the police.
The bridge is washed out. That should buy us some extra time. But I don't want extra time. I want the police to arrive. I'm stuck in this house as a murderer.
But once the police arrive, the rest of us are doomed.
Wadsworth, am I right in thinking that there's nobody else in this house?
No.
Then there is somebody else in the house.
Sorry, I said no, meaning yes.
No meaning yes?
Yes.
Look, I want a straight answer.
Don't look at me.
They look at him.
Wadsworth, is there someone else in this house? Yes or no?
Wadsworth considers this carefully. Then,
No.
No, there is or no, there isn't.
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion whether or not we're the only people in this house.
There isn't.
There isn't any confusion, or there isn't anybody else in the house?
Either. Both.
Just give me a clear answer.
What was the question?
Is there anybody else in this house?
No!
That's what he says, but does he know?
Look, we've got a killer on the loose. The missing dead body of Mr. Body, a cook with a dagger, and all of these accessible weapons, the rope, the revolver, the candlestick, the wrench, and... Hey, where's the lead pipe?
Mrs. Peacock comes, stumbling into the room with Mr. Body hanging all over her. It looks like Mr. Body is attacking her.
It's Mr. Body!
He's attacking her.
The bloody Mr. Body falls off onto the ground, a lead pipe protruding out of his skull.
Ugh. He's so bloody.
Stand back! He's dead.
That's what you said last time.
I believe in second chances.
Mr. Body, dead. Again.
I'm gonna faint.
I'll catch you.
Mrs. Peacock falls into Wadsworth's arms. He releases her, and her body falls with a thud.
Sorry.
Mrs. Peacock,
Yes.
where did this happen?
It was in the bathroom. I had gone in to use the restroom, and Mr. Body was there propped up against the door frame. At first, I thought he was attacking me, but then I realized he'd been set up there just to fall on somebody.
She pulls a tiny bottle of booze from her cleavage and downs it.
Who would do such a thing?
Takes a lot of guts to kill someone twice.
It's what we call overkill.
But why?
What's the difference?
Makes a difference to him.
Makes a difference to us. We've got to find out who killed him, where, and with what.
Seems like it was probably the lead pipe.
10 points, Professor Plum.
What kind of game are you playing, Wadsworth?
This isn't a game.
You! The lead pipe belonged to you.
But I dropped it on my way to the kitchen.
People don't just drop murder weapons.
I didn't know it was a murder weapon when I dropped it.
So anyone could have picked it up.
Yes, of course, but who did? Who picked up the lead pipe? Who picked up the lead pipe and brutally murdered Mr. Body, leaving him dead and bloodied in the bathroom? Who did that? Who?
Cool it, Butler. While you're over here losing your marbles, I'm trying to do something useful. Have you all forgotten about the evidence against us?
The evidence!
They move towards Mrs. Scarlet. Mrs. Scarlet tries to open Mr. Body's briefcase.
Mr. Body's briefcase is locked.
There must be a key.
Mr. Green, would you be so kind as to check Mr. Body's pockets for his key to his briefcase containing the evidence against for all of our crimes, so that we may destroy said evidence once and for all?
Why me?
Why not?
Well, all right.
Mr. Green pulls out a leg-tex glove, putting it on.
Where'd you get that?
I don't like germs.
Or fingerprint?
No, mostly it's really just germs.
Mr. Green searches Mr. Body's pocket, gagging and holding back vomit.
Oh God. It's so warm. Aha! Got it!
Give it here.
He rushes over to Mrs. Scarlet, who opens the briefcase.
It's empty.
Empty?
Then where's all the evidence?
I told you Mr. Body was a liar. Had the evidence in his briefcase my foot.
We have to find that evidence.
And destroy it.
Evidence against us aside, we're in a room with 2 dead bodies.
And the cops are on their way.
Let's move the corpses to the couch, so then they look less dead.
Some party this is turning out to be.
Help me, Mr. Green.
Well, all right.
Yvette and Mr. Green drag the cook, while Professor Plum drags Mr. Body.
Careful, don't get guts on the ground.
All a battlefield technique, Professor Plum. Never leave a man behind.
Dabbers are heavier than they seem, aren't they?
I wouldn't know.
Right. Me neither.
Upsy daisy.
Here, prop her up.
Aren't you all strong and virile?
Mrs. Peacock drinks from a flask.
Good! They look asleep.
Forget about the bodies. We need to do something about this room full of murder weapons and a homicide murderer on the loose.
Let's put the weapons in the bag.
Wadsworth starts putting the remaining weapons into Mr. Body's bag.
What good will that do?
Then we'll zip up the bag.
Most murderers know how zippers work, Wadsworth.
I know. We'll put the bag in the safe.
Terrific. Where's the safe?
In the hole.
Scene 7. The Hall. They arrive to see Wadsworth tinkering with the bottom of a portrait hanging between two doors.
I don't see his safe.
Is that an original Thrumble, Mr. Wadsworth?
Those are quite valuable.
Now is not the time for art appreciation, Butler.
Before Mrs. Peacock can finish her thought, Wadsworth opens the painting on the wall to reveal a safe.
Ooh.
Wadsworth throws the bag and locks it in the painting.
A hidden safe behind a portrait. How original.
There. Locked.
Voila.
What are you going to do with the key to the safe, Wadsworth?
Yes, the key.
I'll put it in my pocket.
But what if you're the murderer?
I'm not.
But what if you are?
I have an idea. We'll throw it outside.
Oui, à l'extérieur.
But it's raining a la exterior.
I'm not suggesting we go outside. I'm suggesting we stay inside but throw away the key.
But you'd have to open the door, wouldn't you?
I would.
But what if the killer is outside?
Better out than in.
Yes. If he's outside, we want to keep him out there. If we open the door, we risk letting him back inside.
But maybe if we open the door, the killer will be encouraged to go out.
The killer seems to be doing a fine job of opening and closing doors all by himself. I don't see how us opening the door for 1 second could possibly make any of a difference.
But what if we open the door, throw away the key, and the killer catches it? Then the killer would have the key that we're trying to confiscate.
We might be overthinking this. I'm going to throw away the key. Follow me.
Scene 8. The front hall. As Wadsworth leads Yvette and the guests to the front door, Wadsworth opens the front door to throw away the safe key. Surprisingly, a motorist stands with his hand poised to knock.
Not now!
Wadsworth slams the door in the motorist's face, the guest breathless with fear.
Was that the killer?
Didn't look like a killer.
Takes one to know one.
Leave him to me. Interrogation is my specialty.
Colonel Mustard opens the door.
How do you do?
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb the whole household, but my car broke down out here and I was wondering if I could use a phone.
Are you a killer?
What? No.
All right. This way, please.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Well, where is it?
What? The body?
The phone. What body?
What? There's nobody. There's nobody.
Right. There's nobody in the study.
Colonel Mustard has inadvertently pointed to the study. The motorist starts walking towards it. Everyone realizes that's where the bodies are.
No.
No, that phone's been disconnected. I think there's one in the lounge.
Alrighty then.
Wadsworth brings the motorist to the door of the lounge.
Right through this door.
Thank you.
Wadsworth opens the door, letting the motorist in, then closes it and locks the door.
Now listen, everyone. We haven't much time. Our task is twofold. 1, find the evidence. 2, find the murderer.
Got the motorist contained in the lounge, but that leaves the entire rest of this place up for grabs. Who knows what's behind all these doors?
I suggest we handle this in proper military fashion. We split up and search the house.
Split up?
Yes, we'll split up. That way, no one will be alone.
But if we split into pairs, whichever one of us gets paired with the killer might get killed.
But then, we would have discovered who the murderer is.
But the other half of the pair would be dead.
This is war, Miss Peacock. Casualties are inevitable. You cannot make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Any cook will tell you that.
Stop.
Oh, look what happened to the cook.
Colonel, are you willing to take that chance?
What choice do we have?
None.
I suppose you're right.
Alrighty, troops. Divide and conquer. I'll split us up into pairs. Eeny, meeny, miny.
No. Mrs. White, you come with me. Professor Plum, you're with Mrs. Peacock. Yvette, you go with Mr. Green. And Miss Scarlet, you're with Eeny Meeny.
But what if someone doesn't come back?
We'll remember you fondly. Now, leave no door unopened, and cherish your partner. They might be the last person you ever see.
Okay, but I don't...
Scene 9.
I'm trying to
The
watch
hall.
the show with my family.
Go on. I'll be right behind you.
That's why I'm nervous.
Play.
But why? It's just us. We're alone.
I'm in
That's just it, Mrs. White. No man in his right mind would ever be alone with you.
different devices.
Fine. You go in there. I'll go in here.
They go to 2 doors, but don't go in.
Are you going in?
Yes, are you?
Yes.
On the count of 3. 1, 3.
Wadsworth and Mrs. White enter and exit their respective rooms abruptly.
No.
Nothing in that room.
Nothing in that room either.
Shall we search the ballroom?
All right.
Focus shifts to Mrs. Peacock and Professor Plum in the library. Mrs. Peacock puts a book back on the bookshelf, triggering an elaborate FBI-styled secret panel labeled evidence, plastered with headshots and notes detailing the guest's crime, to flip and appear on the wall directly behind them. They do not see this.
How can I find the evidence if I don't even know what I'm looking for?
Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another.
Your fancy words don't intimidate me, Professor.
I take no credit, Mrs. Peacock. Freud, I think he's onto something.
Now is not the time for academic pursuits. We're supposed to be finding the evidence.
It's a fruitless search, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like we're going to walk into a room and find all the evidence plastered on a wall.
I suppose you're right.
Come on, let's head upstairs. Maybe we'll be excited by something in a bedroom.
I haven't been excited by something in a bedroom for years.
They exit the library. The guests crisscross once more, featuring an unexpected split-second connection between Yvette and Wadsworth. We move to the lounge and find the motorist on the phone.
I'm a little nervous. I'm at that big house on the hill, and I've been locked in the lounge. I didn't expect there to be a whole group of people here. I think they're having some sort of party, and the funny thing is, I think one of them's my customer.
As he's talking, the portrait behind him opens and a gloved hand appears behind him with a raised wrench.
You could see what he was doing for his part.
Scene 10. The conservatory. Colonel Mustard searches the floor of the conservatory. Mrs. Scarlet comes in slyly with Professor Plum's pipe.
Oh, there you are.
Look, you'll never believe what I found in the hallway. Professor Plum's stupid tobacco pipe.
Huh. What do you think that means?
Who knows, but seems suspicious if you ask me.
I just did.
Honestly, Colonel, this is the last room to search in this beastly mansion. And we still haven't found the evidence.
I think this time has been productive, nevertheless.
Aren't you a Pollyanna?
I mean, really. Miss Scarlet, you are a brave and determined lady. I've really enjoyed our time together. I hope, after this expedition ends, we can remain friends. Really, murderers aside, it's just been a lovely group of people all together. I suppose I would like Miss White to explain how she lost her veil in the billiard room, but...
Mrs. Scarlet grabs the veil.
You found Mrs. White's veil in the billiard room? Odd.
Odd?
Odd.
Colonel Mustard accidentally leans on a wall sconce, which moves like a lever. A trap door in the floor opens.
A trapdoor leading to a secret passage. Come on.
Ladies first, Miss Scarlet.
How heroic.
Mrs. Scarlet steps into the passage. Colonel Mustard follows. Scene 11. The lounge. A painting opens. Colonel Mustard and Mrs. Scarlet climb out of it.
Where are we now?
How should I know the lights are off?
Well, turn them on.
I would if I could see anything.
Well, I'm going to feel my way around.
Don't get any funny ideas.
A table.
A telephone.
A chair.
A body.
A body?
Body! Ah!
They find a door, but the door is locked.
Let us in!
Let us in!
Let
Let us out!
We can't let you out. The door to the lounge is locked.
You had the key, Wadsworth. You locked both of us in here.
That's right. I did. I do. I don't. The keys are gone.
Gone? I have an idea.
Yvette runs off.
There's a murderer on the loose. Please get us out of here.
Professor Plum walks back to the door at his most macho.
There's no alternative. I'm just going to have to break down the door. Stand back! I am a doctor!
Suddenly, Yvette runs on, holding the gun.
Stand back. I am a woman.
Professor Plum backs into Yvette. Their crash causes her gun to go off, firing upwards. The chandelier falls, pinning Mr. Green beneath it. Mr. Green rolls out from beneath the chandelier.
What was that? Murder! We're stuck in here.
I will
Yvette,
help you.
still determined to save the day, points the gun at the lounge door. With surprising expertise, she fires the gun twice at the lock.
I'm done shooting you. The door is open. You can come out now.
Colonel Mustard and Mrs. Scarlet exit the lounge.
Why were you shooting at us?
Who opens the door?
But you could have killed us.
I said stand back.
Let's add finding the key to the lounge to our priority list.
Say, Frenchie, where'd you get that gun anyways?
Is it safe? It was unlocked.
Unlocked!
Possible. I have the key.
He checks his pocket.
No, I haven't. It's gone.
Gone! Not to beat a dead horse, but Again, I feel like having all of the keys is really important to this expedition.
I thought you'd say that you'd throw away the key to the safe, Wadsworth.
I did say that, but I didn't do that. We got distracted by the motorist at the door and I forgot. One of you must have snatched the keys from my pocket while we were searching the house.
So whoever has the keys is the killer.
Precisely.
Speaking of the killer, there's a dead body in the lounge, you know. The motorist is dead?
Mrs. Scarlet opens the lounge door. They all peek in.
Which one of you killed him?
We found him together.
And he was already dead.
But the door to the lounge was locked.
We went through a secret passage. We found it in the control room.
Passage? Who designed this place?
The Parker brothers.
They wait and hope.
Let's hide.
Oh, no.
Maybe this time it's the killer.
Here, quick, I'll hide the gun.
Don't worry, it's not the police.
It's the police!
I'm going to open the door.
No!
The decent thing to do.
Open the door!
Mr. Green opens the front door. A cop stands there.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, officer. We've been expecting you.
You have?
We haven't?
I got a tip about an abandoned car near the gates of this house. Did a motorist stop by for help by any chance?
No!
Yes.
There seems to be some disagreement. At any rate, can I come in and use the phone?
No!
No.
Of course you may, sir. There's a phone in the lounge.
Mrs. Scarlet, who's closest to the lounge door, blocks it.
Out of order.
Oh, of course. My mistake. You can use the phone in the study.
Professor Plum, who's closest to the study door, blocks it.
Occupied.
If you please, sir, you may use the phone in the library. Right this way.
You're all acting rather peculiar.
It's because our chandelier fell down.
Rude. It almost crushed me.
It could have killed us, but don't worry, the maid will clean it up.
That's all well and good, but what's going on in the lounge and study?
Lounging, studying, this way.
Let me have a look.
No, thank you.
What?
This way, please.
Actually, I'd like to take a look around if you don't mind.
Of course, officer. Follow me. I'll take you on a grand tour of Body Manor. This home was built by Lord Reginald Body in 1784.
We've got to cover our tracks and get rid of this guy.
This way, please. Lord Body had been declared Lord Body after somebody discovered an antibody that would save everybody.
Mrs. White, Mrs. Peacock, Colonel Mustard, and Yvette head to the study where Mr. Body and Cook's bodies remain. Professor Plum, Mrs. Scarlet, and Mr. Green head to the lounge.
Notice the mahogany floor. Oh, did you know that in the 17th century, the Buccaneer John Escoming recorded the use of mahogany for making canoes? Canoe?
What?
The two groups have each entered their respective rooms. The cop turns around to find...
Hey, where did everybody go?
Notice the brass doorknobs crafted specifically for Lord Body by his buddy in 1878.
I don't care about doorknobs, mister. What's going on around here? Where are you hiding those two rooms?
Which two rooms?
The lounge and the study.
Oh. Those two rooms.
Yes.
The cop approaches the study door. Wadsworth blocks the path.
No, officer, I don't think you should go in there.
Why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
The cop shoves Wadsworth aside and enters the study. The guests puppeteer the dead bodies of Mr. Body and the cook so they appear to be alive. Mrs. White has set herself up with the dead Mr. Body on top of her to make it appear as they are making out. The cop now notices Colonel Mustard seemingly making out with the dead cook, while Mrs. Peacock, unseen by the cop, uses her hands as if they were the cook's hands, heavily petting Colonel Mustard. The cop moves to exit.
Good night, officer. Good night.
Slam! The cop retreats from the study, back into the main hall with
That was
Wadsworth.
not all that shocking, mister. Those folks were just having a good time. Why didn't you tell me this was a party?
My apologies, sir.
If I just take a peek in the lounge, if you don't mind.
The cop opens the lounge door. The dead motorist appears to be drunk, rather than dead. He is propped up in a chair by Mr. Green, who shares the chair with him. Professor Plum and Mrs. Scarlet are slowly dancing to music behind them.
Evening, Ossifer. How do you do?
Have these men drunk?
Dead drunk.
Mr. Green offers the cop booze from Mr. Body's limp hand, splashing booze everywhere.
One sip.
Oh, I can't drink on the job. The chief would kill me.
Killed if you do, killed if you don't.
What?
Huh?
Have a lovely evening, officer.
Same to you.
The cop shuts the door.
Well,
I can explain everything.
no explanation necessary. There's nothing illegal about any of this.
There's not?
Of course not! This is America. And that was the pursuit of happiness. May I use your phone now?
Certainly.
Wadsworth leads the cop to the library.
The library, officer.
Thank you.
Wadsworth closes and locks the door behind him. Then,
All's clear. You can come out now. Well done, all of you. Impressive.
all the guests emerge into the hall, congratulating themselves.
You really pulled that off.
To never do that again.
Thank you.
Psst. All right. I've locked him in the library.
How'd you do that? Thought you didn't have the keys.
I didn't have my right pocket keys, but my left pocket keys are still intact. Now, let's finish searching the manor. The police are on their way.
But the police already came.
Not the broken down car police, the criminal investigation police.
Precisely. We must find the evidence and we can't afford any more murders. This is getting dangerous. Now go.
The guests disperse to search the house. Scene 12. The library and the billiard room. The cop dials the phone.
Hello? Hello?
The lights go out.
Power outage. Must be the storm. Oh, hello, Chief. Yes, this is... Hello? Hello? Are you still there? Is this phone working?
Hello? Who turned out the lights? Hello?
She sees someone in the doorway.
Oh, it's only you. You scared me. I thought you was a killer.
Did somebody cut the line? Hello?
Oh, did you find a clue? What's that in your hand?
A gloved hand holding a rope emerges from behind Yvette. A noose flies onto her neck. She struggles.
Oh, good, you can hear me. You see, I found an abandoned car and wound up in an old mansion, where all the lights just went out. I'm telling you, Chief, something funny going around here.
A gloved hand holding a candlestick emerges from the trap door in the bookshelf.
They're having some sort of party, and you will never believe what I just saw.
The cop turns around at the sound, the candlestick descending on top of him.
No!
Scene 13. The hall.
There we go.
Oh,
What? Fire.
Let there be light.
do you hear that?
Sounds like a telephone is off the hook.
It's coming from the library.
That's where the killer must be.
I'm going in.
Aren't you afraid?
Of course.
Of what? A fate worse than death?
No, just death.
Wadsworth, followed by the guests, go to the library door. He unlocks it. Cop sits head down.
Excuse me, Mr. Culp. Are you all right? Do you need assistance? A phone book, perhaps?
Hey, listen here, Copper. The butler asked you a question. You better hang up that telephone or I will.
He does not move. Mrs. Peacock slams the phone down. She pulls the cop's body back, revealing a bloody candlestick protruding from his head.
Oh, no!
Morbidly. Guests hysterically run until they all arrive
We
settled
should be
in the
here in the
billiard.
billiard room.
I don't feel safe.
I can't relax.
How about a round of pool to pass the time?
Oh,
Good idea.
I love
I'll
pool.
watch.
Not your bet.
I am your singing telegram.
The young woman falls dead in the doorway. Scene 14. The conclusion. They all take a collective breath. Wadsworth pushes the legs of the girl out of the way and shuts the door. They are now all eerily calm.
3 murders in 3 minutes.
That's our best record.
3 murders.
6 altogether.
The cook, Mr. Body, the motorist, the cop, Yvette, and the telegram girl.
But who is the murderer?
Ain't that the million-dollar question?
Sometimes the most obvious answers are right under our noses. I believe the best course of action would be to retrace our steps. It all started like this. At the start of the evening, there was thunder, lightning, and dogs barked. Ding dong, Colonel Mustard. Ding dong, Mrs. White, who noticed Yvette. Da-da! Mrs. Peacock, who noticed the cook. Da-da! Then Mr. Green. Sit! No, not you, sir. Please, come in. Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet. Ding! Dinner is served. That was more like a cocktail minute. To the dining room. Shark fin soup? Ooh, yummy, yum, yum, my favorite. Then Mr. Body arrived, and we all went to the study. Coffee? Brandy? Who is this Mr. Body, butler? How do you do? Then Mr. Body asked me to pass out packages. Ah! A snake! Oh, no, it's just a rope. Then Mr. Body switched off the lights. Now!
He switches off the lights.
Oh my god!
Not again.
Lights up. Wadsworth lies dead on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness! Mr. Body was dead, but not really. Really, he was alive. Then Mrs. Peacock drank his drink.
He drinks from Mrs. Peacock's flask and spits it all over the guests.
Poison? Ah! 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 Well, someone had to stop her screaming. Then we heard to the billiard room, but Mrs. Peacock joined late. I'm an old woman who may or may not have been poisoned. Then Mrs. White asked, are we the only ones in this house? To which we all replied, the cook, who we found knifed in the back.
He mimes stabbing her, then imitates the cook's falling body out of the freezer, onto Mr. Green.
Oh God. Oh God. So gross. Blood. Germs. Will somebody help me up? I suggested we take the cook's body into the study, but Mr. Body's body was gone. Then Mrs. Peacock entered with Mr. Body on her body because Mr. Body had been bludgeoned in his bee. Then the briefcase.
He mimes opening the briefcase at the desk.
Empty. That's when the motorist arrived. Are you the killer? And I locked him in the lounge.
He fake kills Mr. Green, a la the motorist, with a mimed wrench in his hand. Mr. Green drops dead, a la the motorist.
It's when the unexpected cop showed up. Hello. You're all acting rather peculiar. Can you canoe?
He fake kills Professor Plum with mimed candlestick to the head. Professor Plum drops dead.
Then the maid got strangled in the billiard room.
He fake strangles Mrs. Scarlet with mimed rope. Mrs. Scarlet drops dead.
Which brings us to I am Bang, and here we all are.
Bravo!
Very impressive, Wadsworth.
But what does it prove?
Nothing.
Well...
Enough of this. I know who the murderer is.
You do?
I do.
All right, then, Miss Scarlet. Who do you accuse?
Mrs. Scarlet reveals Professor Plum's pipe, pointing it at Professor Plum.
It was Professor Plum in the hall with a revolver.
Liar!
We all heard the gun go off, Professor, and I found your tobacco pipe here when we were searching the house. When did you drop it, huh? Well, the best vantage point to kill your next victim? I bet that poor singing telegram girl was one of your patients of yours.
It wasn't me! I never saw that girl in my life!
Well, missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the gun is the murderer.
They all do so. Professor Plum pulls out the revolver with a grunt. He points it at Wadsworth.
Well done, Wadsworth.
You won't be able to prove anything if you're all dead.
That may be so, Professor Plum, but if we're alive...
Wadsworth opens the door. The chief of police and his backup cop enter, guns and badges revealed. Stepping over the dead telegram girl.
Officers,
on the
there's
way
your
in.
man.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. I'm Hank Cuffs, Chief of Police. And Professor Plum, you're coming with me.
Wait, that's not how it happened. It happened like this.
They return to their positions.
All right, then. We're listening, Professor Plum. Who do you accuse?
It was Colonel Mustard in the lounge with the wrench.
I'll never lounge.
I found your Medal of Honor in the lounge where the motorist was killed by a wrench to the head. And the wrench belongs to you.
That's a lie.
The wrench is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the wrench is the murderer.
They all do. Colonel Mustard pulls out the wrench with a threatening grunt.
Well done, Wadsworth.
Cops enter, guns and badges revealed.
There's your man, officer. Not a kernel of truth in him.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. Guilty verdict, Chief of Police. Colonel Mustard, you're coming with me.
You have it all wrong. It happened like this.
They return to their positions.
We're listening, Colonel. Who do you accuse?
It was Mrs. White in the billiard room with the rope.
I'd rather die.
I found your veil in the billiard room, and I saw how you cringed tonight when Yvette served you dinner.
Yes, it's true, I hated Yvette. She had a torrid affair with my late husband. I hated her. I hated her so much. Flames on the side of my face, breathing heavy breaths. But all because I hated her. Doesn't mean I killed her.
The rope is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies.
Mrs. White pulls out the rope with a yelp. They gasp as she waves it threateningly.
Well done, Wadsworth.
Cops burst in.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. Mark my words, Chief of Police. Mrs. White.
It happened like this.
They return to their positions.
Mrs. White, who do you accuse?
It's me, Mrs. Peacock, in the kitchen with the dagger. I found a feather by the corpse.
Gentlemen, turn out your pockets.
Mrs. Peacock reveals a dagger.
Well done, Wadsworth.
Cops enter, disarming and cuffing Mrs. Peacock.
That's what I said. Yes, well, I'm saying it now.
I'm Barry D. Hatchet,
Chief of
Chief
Police.
of Police.
That's not how it happened.
It
happened
like
this.
They return to their positions.
It was Miss Scarlet in the library with the cat.
Maximum Chief of Police.
You can't do this to me.
Frankly, Miss Scarlet, I don't give a damn. But it really happened like this.
They do the final iteration, lackluster rewind.
I know who the murderer is.
Who?
Who?
All of you.
Wadsworth reveals a gun.
Nobody move. You're all killers.
You can't prove anything, Wadsworth.
I'm not Mr. Wadsworth. I'm Mr. Body.
How can you be Mr. Body if Mr. Body's dead body bled all over me?
It wasn't Mr. Body who was bleeding.
But if Mr. Body wasn't Mr. Body, then who was he?
He was Wadsworth, my butler.
But if you're the real Mr. Body, what was your purpose of dragging this all out?
Well, when you started murdering people, I decided to roll the dice. See if you don't self-implode. Kill off my entire network of spies and informers, which you all did splendidly, by the way. Generously leaving your fingerprints on every glass, doorknob, and dead body. So now I have each of you on the hook for murder.
Murder?
Bribery for petty crimes is one thing, but murder? Now that could get expensive.
But why this whole charade?
The searching of the house, the retracing of all of our steps.
It's all a part of the game.
Game?
Well, yeah. I'm relaxed now. You've killed everyone off. There's no evidence left against me. I've gotten off. Scot-free.
But the police, they'll be here any minute. You will never get away with this.
What's so funny?
Nobody's called the police, have they?
We're never on their way.
Now listen up, you reprobates. We're gonna stack the bodies in the cellar, lock the cellar door, leave Body Manor one at a time, and forget any of this ever happened.
I can't forget all this.
With murder on the menu, blackmail just tripled.
Forgotten.
Now move!
Wait a minute, we can all rush him. He's got no more bullets left in his gun.
Come on, you don't think I'm gonna fall for that old trick?
It's not a trick. There was one shot at Mr. Body in the study, 2 for the chandelier, 2 at the lounge door, and 1 more for the singing telegram girl.
That's not 6.
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
There was only 1 shot that got the chandelier. That's 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Even if you were right, that would be 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, not 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
Okay, fine, 1. Shut up! Point is, there's 1 bullet left in this gun, and anybody who moves is gonna get it!
So you're just gonna keep blackmailing us and we're supposed to pretend none of this ever happened?
Of course. Why not?
I'll tell you why not.
Mr. Green draws a gun.
Larry Goodman, FBI. The jig is up.
Or is it?
Wadsworth turns and shoots Mr. Green. Mr. Green dodges with Matrix-esque finesse. Mr. Green trains his gun on Wadsworth, who is genuinely now frightened.
You're FBI?
Apparently I'm a dead ringer for Mr. Green. He received a letter just like the each of you, but he came to the bureau to ask for help. I took his place tonight so we could have a sting operation.
Some sting. 6 people died on your watch.
I usually work the desk. My beat is property crime. You know, theft, fraud. Which is why I was so tickled when the real Wadsworth risked his neck just to drop off a whole briefcase worth of evidence last night.
You had the evidence the whole time?
It's all here. Miss Scarlett's books, including the names of customers and employees, justifying why she killed the cop, who's listed here on her payroll.
Give me that.
Mrs. Scarlett lunges at Mr. Green. He staves her off with his gun.
Ooh, and a love letter addressed to Professor Plum.
That is private property.
That sinking telegram girl was the teenage daughter of the head of the you-know-who would have come clean to Daddy, who would have cleaned out Professor Plum. So you killed her.
Now, see here.
Wadsworth makes an attempt to escape. Mr. Green trains his gun on him again.
And these negatives, Colonel. Quite the regular at Miss Scarlett's establishment. Bet you couldn't be a colonel anymore if that motorist told your general where he drives you on Tuesday nights.
I just wanted somebody to talk
Wadsworth takes a step towards Mr. Green's gun. Mr. Green thwarts his attempts with ninja-like moves and carries on with a flourish.
Shark fin soup indeed, Mrs. Peacock. Too bad that old cook of yours couldn't keep quiet. If she hadn't blabbed about your briberies, maybe you wouldn't have killed her before you joined us outside the billiard room. Now we know what really took you so long.
Circumstantial evidence will never hold up in the court of law.
But this notarized record from the cook will. Now, Mrs. White, you weren't lying, were you? You really did hate Yvette.
Flames. Flames on the side.
Okay, we get it.
Feeling a vial seemingly out of thin air.
This vial contains the fingerprints found at the scenes of your previous murders.
I never murdered my husband.
Fingerprints I'm sure the FBI will be able to match to those found on the rope tied around Yvette's neck.
I wore gloves.
Mr. Green opens his vest to reveal Mrs. White's gloves pinned to his chest.
You mean these? And last but not least, Mr. Bobby Body.
It's Robert.
Now, Mr. Body, you didn't hate Yvette at all, did you?
What's it to you?
Illicit green card love affair is the icing on the cake of this FBI file. An FBI file on the whole Body family. Your butler, the real Wadsworth, has been feeding us information for months. Talk about a real American.
He was British.
You know what I mean. I see why you'd want to kill him. Twice. Your shot missed him in the study, but he wisely played dead. It wasn't until you caught him trying to escape that you bashed his head in with the lead pipe I dropped on my way to the kitchen.
I mean, really, Miss Scarlett, who drops a murder weapon?
I didn't know it was a... For generations, the Body family has been wanted for organized crime, but has always eluded the law. Until now. Tonight, the Body business has reached a dead end.
You leave my family out of this!
Wadsworth, enraged, uses the dagger he snags from Mrs. Peacock's purse to lunge at Mr. Green. Mr. Green fires, shooting Wadsworth successfully.
Ow! Ow! Oh, Larry. Hold me, Larry. Oh, it's so dark. Second wind. If I knew you were coming, I'd baked a cake. Yes. Here we go. I'm gone.
He's dead?
Not yet!
Oh, come on!
Smile when your heart is breaking. Mama! Larry! Larry! Now.
I tell ya, this was the most exciting night I've had in some time. And now you are all under arrest. Officers!
Cops with guns burst through the front door, the guests holding up their hands.
These are the criminals you've been looking for, and you'll find the confessions we've been waiting for in the billiard room.
The tapes.
All right, who done it?
They all did. But if you're wondering who killed Mr. Body, it was me, Special Agent Larry Goodman, in the hall with my gun.
Well done, Goodman.
That's what he said.
Mr. Green arrogantly twirls his gun.
And that's how it really...
Oh!
Sorry. All right, Chief, take him away. I'm going home to sleep with my wife.
End of